Massive PSA news. Cue the massive overreaction. Guys, we're overreacting. Give it to me. Hello, sports card collectors, investors, all the collectibles friends. How are you? It's another breaking news story. It's huge, unbelievable PSA news that we have got to be all over the second that it happens, right? How many people is this going to affect in real time? Not many. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that this makes a whole lot of a difference. And what is the difference? What is happening? Well, regular service levels for PSA have now opened to the general public, so not through the special group subbers that have been chosen to send cards in. No. It is for everyone. Me, you, everybody can send in at $100 a card. At $100 a card, you can send in as many as you want. Declared value at $1,499 is the maximum. Correct me if I'm wrong here, because I thought that maybe it was $999 and maybe that was moved up to $1,499, or I could be wrong and maybe the whole time it was $1,499. Now, in all seriousness, does this help some people? Absolutely, because the fact of the matter is when they had reopened regular service, you were going through these group subbers that had a very limited amount of cards that they could send in at any given point. So it was basically just capped off every week at like 300 cards per group subber. Now, that's not very many, okay? Especially when a lot of these big group subbers have 1,000 clients or 500 clients or whatever. And so does this help some folks? Yeah, absolutely. And actually, crazingly enough, I think there's going to be a lot of cards that go to PSA. I think there's actually going to be high demand for it. I can kind of see there's a little bit of play there with $100 grading a card for $100 with the max declared value at $1,500. There's a little bit of play there for raw cards for, flippers or sellers, dealers, whatever, to turn around and make some money there. So I do think that they are actually going to get bombarded at $100 a card. I know that a lot of people are going to say that that's nuts, considering a year ago it was $10, $15, or $20 a card or whatever. But I think there's enough people that have been stockpiling raw cards, getting ready for PSA to kind of reopen and get things moving, that I still think they're going to get a nice chunk of business, new business. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, well, what about me? I've been waiting a year to get my submission back. And what I would say is I'm sure they're probably almost there. You can see kind of how that backlog is getting eaten away, and they are working at it, hard at it. And they're probably hiring more people. And I'm sure that, the amount of cards that they're grading is going to continue to move up. I mean, they have reached 40,000 cards a day. So what is that? 200,000 cards a week, or so, 800 million cards a month. That's a lot of cards. So if they're continuously hiring, maybe they're opening up a shop in New Jersey, a post in New Jersey on the East Coast, maybe something in Europe or global, whatever. You can see how this is, if they're continuing to expand. I know there's a lot of people that have been like, oh, well, if you run the math here, they're still a year away from getting through this backlog, especially if they're taking on new business. But the reality is they are probably working logistically behind the scenes to be able to grade more cards, I would guess. I don't think they're done here at, 30, 35, 40,000 cards a day. That's a tremendous amount of cards a day, by the way. But I don't know if they're necessarily just good with that. I think that they will continue on, especially if they run this $100 for anybody to send in cards and they get bombarded. This will be a great little test for them as to, do we continue hiring, or do we need to train up more people, or are we actually pretty good where we are from kind of a capacity standpoint? And that'll be interesting to see. So, is this big news for most people? Not really, because the reality is that most of the hobby is not submitting at $100 a card. Most of them just are not doing it. But we're kind of inching down. You're seeing things happen. There's movements within PSA. And look, PSA is the king of grading at this point. They are the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in this grading space right now. They are number one as far as resale value, as far as capacity, as far as brand recognition, etc. So any kind of step that they make moving in the direction of being able to run at, $1 a card to grade it, whatever is going to be taken as a positive move in that direction. So I want to hear what you guys think. I know, again, this is not going to affect a lot of people, including myself for that matter. But I do think it's going to help certain folks, especially, there's going to be certain collectors, there's going to be dealers and flippers that are like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go ahead and get my submission in. I don't have to worry about going through a group sub that might not be able to send my cards in, because there's a cap. There's no cap at $100 a card. So let's see where it goes. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am curious. Are you running wild with this thing? Are you just like watching this in the background, just getting all your cards and your package together to go to PSA? Or are you like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for that $80 price point, the $60 price point, the $50 price point, the $1.75 price point. I hear you. I hear you. Hey, to each their own. All right, y'all. Have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy. Stay awesome. And I will talk to you again later.